I was trained as a musician. When I was young, I went to a couple of piano recitals. We were playing Scarlatti, so I fell in love with that music and I wanted to play it, so I taught myself how to play piano. So now in my art practice, music writing plays an important role.
My name is Charles Gaines.
My name is Roxana, Landaverde.
And we live in Los Angeles.
We moved to this area, Cypress Park, about 20 years ago, and this is the area where most artists were moving to. This house was built in 1993, so the bones of the house, the architecture, is very basic.
So this living area is very small. The piano and the furniture, it actually made the room not very comfortable to sit in. And in fact, when we had parties, nobody was in here. Everybody was in the back part of the house.
In the kitchen, always.
And we thought that building it out would change the landscape, so to speak, of the house enough so that the entire house would be more likely to be used, especially when we had guests. And it worked. With this expansion, the increase in the height of the ceilings and the sliding doors and the balcony, aside from being aesthetically interesting, it also made the whole space more functional. The big challenge is to make, quite an elaborate design fit in the existing neighborhood. And at the same time, be something that's new to look at and think about. The architect Peter Token created this design to use these panels as a facing for the front of the house, and he's told us that it's because of his reflection on my work. So a large part of my work employs the grid. So that was not my idea. I thought it was interesting, but it was not something that was a compelling issue for me. I was more interested in where the piano was going. The house is built on a hillside on top of granite, but above the granite is a sandstone. It's not something like you can just plant a lawn. It's a terrain that really has to be designed. So fortunately, Roxana really loves gardening. In developing our garden, we got Wade Graham in to help us to design the garden. You begin to understand how a garden is like a living animal, but it has moods and attitudes. The garden is a kind of three-dimensional sculpture, that you're shaping spaces. It's extraordinarily fascinating.
We started with the cactus, and it turned out to be a project over 20 years.
And as I said before, we wanted to create this larger space in the living room area to include the piano. And we thought that was the end of it. So we got the idea of paying attention to certain things that we thought were inadequate in this house. We wanted to expand this property, but we ran into limits from the city. And that was where we were until this house next door was for sale. So we managed to buy it. By doing so, we increased our lot size by 3. And that allowed us to build the house that we really want.